Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, November 21, 2022. The first overseas health mission on the government's Code Care project will be in Jamaica from December 1 to 6 to help reduce the backlog of surgical procedures in the public health sector.
Consisting of 6 nurses and 1 anesthesiologist from the US, the United States of America, and the team will work with their local counterparts at the Noel Holmes Hospital in Hanover, where the surgery list will attempt to cover over 30 patients.
Speaking in Parliament last week, the health minister said some of the procedures to be performed in this first mission will include hernia and hysterectomy surgeries. The partnership was forged earlier this year with the University of Miami and the Hartford Health System. It opens the door for greater collaboration in technology and use of telemedicine, as well as the training of specialists within the sector. The Health Ministry has also signed agreements with 8 local private institutions to deliver more than 500 surgeries over the next 10 months.
Over 170 patients have been to date removed from the waiting list for elective surgeries, many of whom have been waiting for over 4 years. This number also includes approximately 35 children who receive surgeries for ear, nose and throat procedures at the Bustamante Hospital for Children.
Dr. Tufton says an assessment has shown that more than 7,000 persons are awaiting elective surgeries, with the vast majority pending for more than 2 years. Project Code Care is one of several initiatives the ministry is implementing to reduce the backlog of elective surgeries, which was exacerbated by the pandemic. Jamaica's foreign exchange market remains relatively stable, partly reflecting actions by the central bank in response to higher than targeted inflation. Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, Richard Biles, says the foreign exchange rate for fiscal year 2022-23 depreciated by 0.5% as at November 11. This was significantly lower than the 6.7% depreciation recorded over the corresponding period of 2021-22. Mr. Biles was speaking during the BOJ's semi-virtual quarterly media briefing on Friday. He says the central bank in this context sold $396 million via its BOJ foreign exchange intervention and trading tool over the period. This, he adds, was complemented by sales of $442.7 million to selected public enterprises, including the state oil refinery Petrojam.
Notwithstanding these sales, the bank net purchased from the market over this period $521.6 million. At the 11th of November 2022, Jamaica's gross international reserves remained substantial at approximately US $4.3 billion. The bank projects that the gross reserves will continue to remain adequate in the medium term.
The Ministry of Tourism has partnered with its Canadian counterpart to further strengthen the resilience and sustainability of the sector. The 2 ministers of tourism agreed to a memorandum of understanding while meeting in Canada last Thursday. It will allow for sharing best practices, training and human capital development, marketing, investment, and the expansion of tourism resilience and sustainability programs and projects. In a release, Minister Bartlett elaborates that the MOU will focus heavily on building the capacity of tourism workers and stakeholders in the industry to provide a greater level of service. He says the agreement will also facilitate exchanges with tourism and hospitality-based universities and colleges in Canada. The 2 countries are set to work on an employment charter to attract and retain tourism workers. Canada and Jamaica have enjoyed a long-standing relationship spanning over 60 years. Approximately 113,300 students have so far been located and re-engaged in schools due to the Ministry of Education's Yard to Yard Find the Child initiative. The data is supported by weekly attendance reports provided by schools through the ministry's regional offices. Speaking with JIS News, Acting Director for the ministry's Safety and Security in Schools Unit, Richard Troop, says 6,700 students remain out of school. Most of them, he indicates, are secondary students at the senior level. Mr. Troop says the daily attendance by some students is of concern, and the ministry is working with parents to ensure that students maximize the 5-day teaching and learning contact time. Approximately 120,000 students were detached from the school system when classes moved online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Among the primary reasons identified were inadequate supervision at home and lack of access to the internet and technological devices. And finally, the Ministry of Education and Youth is now equipped with information to provide a more tailored approach to students requiring special attention. An assessment of early childhood development on children under the age of 4 has been completed. It was carried out by the Early Childhood Commission. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams says it was done to determine how many students at this level have behavioral challenges, early learning issues, or other special needs. That information would then allow for early intervention where necessary. Minister Williams was speaking recently at the Early Childhood Commission's Private Partners Forum under the theme Raising the Bar in Early Childhood Development.
For us to just intervene in the life of that child, because if it's not diagnosed, if we're not aware of it, then that child continues. They'll show up at primary school with behavioral issues.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.